Hello friend, welcome to my channel Clinical Biochemistry by Dr. P.K. Prabhakar. Today I am going to talk about some of the important questions on lipoprotein metabolism. So I am having questions 20 to 25 questions we will have, and each question I am going to explain you in the detail. So after this 20 to 25 questions, your whole concepts on the lipoprotein metabolism will be clear. I hope so. So let's move to the questions. The first question we are having, the fastest moving lipoprotein on the electrophoretic plate is. So this question is on the basis of the classification of lipoprotein on the basis of electrophoresis. So you have to tell which lipoprotein is the fastest moving on the electrophoretic plate, means they are moving in the leading on the electrophoretic plate. So options are chylomicron, VLDL, LDL and HDL. The correct answer is HDL. Why HDL? It's HDL is called as high density lipoprotein. This is the electrophoretic plate. Here we are going to have cathode end and here we are going to have anode end. So whenever you are going to use your substrate at the sample at the cathode end and starting the electrophoresis, depending on the E by M ratio, charge by mass ratio, the substance moves towards the anode end. So chylomicron, which is having the largest in the size, means lowest density and the largest size. So they will be in the near the origin, and the HDL, which is having the smallest size and highest density, because its name is HDL, so they move fastest. So they are leading. HDL is leading. HDL is also called as alpha lipoproteins. VLDL is called as pre-beta lipoproteins. LDL is called as beta lipoproteins. And on this electrophoretic basis, we are having a fifth type of lipoprotein also, that is called as free fatty acid, albumin. So here HDL is the fastest moving and slowest moving is chylomicron. So which type of questions comes, you can select your option according to that one. Second question is, the highest phospholipid content is found in chylomicron, VLDL, LDL and HDL. So you have to tell the phospholipid, or you can call it in other forms lipid. So as you know, the lipoprotein is composed of lipid as well as the proteins. So both will be there. So you have to tell which is having highest amount of phospholipid content. The correct answer is HDL. Normally, if you will see the chylomicron is having only 8% phospholipid. Roughly a total lipid content is more than 98%. Among this 98%, maximum will be triglyceride, and phospholipid is only 8% and protein is only 2%. Similarly, if you go for VLDL, there we are having 90% lipids. If you see this picture, this is the whole complete distribution. So chylomicron having the lowest density and the largest size, whereas HDL is having the highest density and lowest in the size. This density is corresponding to the protein. If protein content will increase, density increases. Like if you see, in case of chylomicron, protein dense content is only 4%. So density is very low, means low density, size is large. Slowly from here, protein content increased 14 to 25%, 25 to 45%. So size decreases as protein content also increases. So density increases. So question was on phospholipid. So the phospholipid, you can see 6% in chylomicron, 18% in phospholipid, 20% in LDL and 30% in HDL. This phospholipid content varies according to book to book. Some books will tell you 47% phospholipid present in the high density lipoprotein. Overall, among all these things, the maximum content of phospholipid is in the HDL. Not only phospholipid, protein is also the highest, and triglyceride decreases in that ratio only. Third question we are having, the class of lipoprotein that is protective against atherosclerosis. So atherosclerosis is a disorder of blood capillary blood vein, means so where clogging will be there. So among chylomicron, VLDL, LDL, HDL, which lipoprotein protect us? The correct option is HDL. If you will see, compare all the things, HDL is called as good cholesterol. Why? Because HDL normally removes the lipid from the circulation and deposit into the liver for recycling or reutilization. Whereas LDL is called as bad cholesterol because it normally more means if we are having oxidized LDL, it normally going to form the clogging. Like you can see here, blood capillary has been clogged. This is because of LDL. So atherosclerotic plaque formation will be there where LDL is going to accumulate inside the blood capillary, and that is going to lead to atherosclerosis. So which protect us? That is HDL, and which causes atherosclerosis? That is LDL. Hope it is clear to you. The next question we are having, which of the following statement best describe the chylomicron? Option A, a type of cholesterol that transport lipid from the small intestine to blood body cells. Second, a type of lipoprotein that transport lipid from the small intestine to body cell. An enzyme from the liver that breaks down triglyceride and transport fatty acid to the body cells, or a byproduct of fat metabolism that results in fatty acid that are then transported to the body cell. Because you know that chylomicron is a lipoprotein. So among all these things, here it is going to tell that it is a type of cholesterol. No. It is a type of enzyme. No. A byproduct. No. It is a lipoprotein. So the correct answer will be B. Chylomicron is a lipoproteins which normally transport lipid from a small intestine to the body cells. Fourth question we are having, which of the following lipoprotein is produced via the exogenous lipoprotein pathway? Exogenous and endogenous, normally we are having two pathway. Exogenous is for all those lipids which normally we take through the external sources like diet, supplements, which normally come to your intestine. And endogenous normally we synthesize in our body, so that will be in the liver. So question is related to the exogenous lipoprotein pathway. So which lipoprotein is produced via exogenous lipoprotein pathway? The correct answer is chylomicron. There are three different type of pathway we are having for lipid in our body. That is called as endogenous pathway, exogenous pathway, and reverse cholesterol transport or reverse transport pathway. One by one we are going to see. If we are going to see exogenous pathway, so whatever you eat, whatever lipid you eat, that is going to your intestine, and from intestine directly it cannot go to the circulation, so it need to be transported via lipoprotein pathway. And in intestine we are going to convert them into chylomicron, and chylomicron help them all the lipid for the transportation from intestine up to the body tissue and then further to the liver. So all the exogenous lipid will be transported in our body through the circulation in the form of chylomicron. Then when we are going to synthesize any lipid, that will be in the liver, there a liver forms VLDL, in the VLDL will be released into the circulation. In the circulation it will be converted into IDL, IDL will be converted to LDL, and LDL will have two routes, either it will go to the liver or it will go to the tissue. So that is for endogenous lipids which we are going to synthesize in our body. Exogenous with the help of chylomicron, endogenous through VLDL, IDL and LDL, and HDL normally do the opposite process. It transport lipids or cholesterol especially from the body tissue or from the circulation back to the liver. So that is HDL, that is called as reversed cholesterol transport, because it is the normal opposite to the normal lipid transportation. So the question was chylomicron. It was exogenous pathway, and exogenous pathway involved through chylomicron only. The next question which we are having, that which are the 5 main series of apoprotein that has been identified? So normally lipoprotein is going to compose of two components, lipid plus protein. The protein of lipoprotein is called as apoprotein. the protein content of lipoprotein is the apoprotein. So you have to tell me what are the different 5 apoproteins we are having. The correct answer is A, B, C, D, E. Other than this one, we are having number of other apoproteins also. So these are some of the important apoproteins we are having, like apoprotein A. So we have different types of apoprotein, A1, A2, A3, like that one. Then in B we are having 2 important, that is B100 and B48. Then we are having C, C1, C2, C3. D we are having, and E we are having E1 and E2. Other than that one, we are having H also. We are having number of other apoproteins also, but these are the important apoproteins we are having. If you see other options like F, normally we don't have, L we don't have, M we don't have. So the correct answer is A. The next question is, chylomicron is a type of lipoproteins that transport triglyceride from the intestine to the tissue, that we have already seen. Which of the following is an integral lipoprotein present, apolipoprotein present in the chylomicron? Among all the apoprotein or apolipoprotein which is present in chylomicron, which of these, either B100, B48, C2 or E? If you will see the chylomicron, then correct answer will be there. So the correct answer is B48. There are many different apolipoproteins or apoproteins chylomicron is having. Like if you see the structure, this is the chylomicron structure. They are having A1 also, A2 also, different type of C2, C3, B48. A1, A2, C1, C2 can be present in other lipoproteins also, but B48 is exclusively present in the chylomicron only. So here correct answer will be B48, which is only present in chylomicron. Next question we are having, which of the following apolipoprotein that is present in chylomicron serves as the activator of an enzyme lipoprotein lipase or LPL? B100, B48, C2 and E. One of these apoproteins which chylomicron is having, they works as the activator of LPL enzyme which digests triglyceride. The correct answer is, it is C2. Normally, I have told you chylomicron is having both C1 and C2 and C3. If you will see C2, C2 works as the activator of LPL and C3 works as the inhibitor of LPL. So C2 is activator, because question is for activator, and if question is on inhibitor, so it is C3. Same thing is present in VLDL also. In VLDL also we are having C2 and C3. There C2 works as activator and C3 works as inhibitor. Then we are having a genetic deficiency of LPL causes hyperlipoproteinemia of the following type. If we are having a defect of lipoprotein lipase enzyme, LPL enzyme, which type of disorder we are having? We will have hyper means more content of lipoprotein will be there. But which type of hyperlipoproteinemia we will have? Type 1A, 2A, 2B or 5? There are different types of, correct answer is type 1. If you will see, there are different types of hyperlipoproteinemia we are having, type 1, 2A, 2B, 3, 4, 5. In this case, there are different lipoprotein is going to accumulate in our body. If you will see, in case of type 1, we are having deficiency of LPL, lipoprotein lipase will be there. Okay, so as you can see here, lipoprotein lipase deficiency is there in case of type 1. So we are unable to digest chylomicron. So triglyceride or chylomicron will be increased in our body, in our circulation. Increased chylomicron and VLDL. Triglyceride will be also increased. In case of type 2A, we are going to have deficiency of LDL receptor. So normally LDL receptor is present on the liver. So hepatocytes liver cells does not have LDL receptor. So LDL will not be taken by the liver, rather it will be in the circulation. So we will have more LDL content in the blood circulation, and because LDL is having high amount of cholesterol, so we will have hypercholesterolemia also. Next is type 2b. In case of type 2b, we are having overproduction of ApoB protein. So increased production of ApoB. ApoB is what is? This is apolipoprotein B, which is present in both chylomicron and VLDL, IDL and LDL. So here we are going to have more VLDL and impaired LDL catabolism. Type 3, if you will see, there we are having abnormality in the ApoE. Type 4, we are going to have overproduction of triglycerides. So these are different types of hyperlipoproteinemia. These are the different classification we are having: type 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In case of this one, we will have LDL. In type 2, we are having LDL receptor defect. In type 2b, we are going to have more production of ApoB. In case of type 3, we are having abnormality of ApoE. Type 4, we are going to have overproduction of TG. So these are the different types of hyperlipoproteinemia and their biochemical regions. Next question we are having, that activated lecithin cholesterol acyl transferase is essential for the conversion of LCAT. In short form, we are going to call LCAT, lecithin cholesterol acyl transferase. So why we require LCAT in our body, lecithin cholesterol acyl transferase in our body? The correct, first we will see the correct answer, then we will go for further detailed explanation. If we will see, the correct answer is here LCAT converts HDL3 into HDL2. What is LCAT? Normally this LCAT involved in the metabolic process of HDL. So the plasma enzyme LCAT, lecithin cholesterol acyl transferase, normally going to catalyze the esterification process of free cholesterol present in the extrahepatic tissue and transfer to the HDL. As you can see, this is the nascent HDL, which is just formed from the liver. They don't have cholesterol. This discoidal HDL, which is immature HDL, takes unesterified cholesterol. This unesterified cholesterol, normal cholesterol, is going to be esterified into the cholesterol ester by LCAT. As soon as this cholesterol becomes esterified, so the size of the specific shape of the HDL going to be converted from discoidal to spherical, and means you can call it is going to be mature. Normally apoprotein A promotes the activity of, so apoprotein A we are having, which activates this LCAT enzyme, and HDL is having that one. HDL also accepts free cholesterol from other lipoproteins in the circulation. Okay, so this is the normal function of LCAT, which converts HDL2, that is discoidal HDL, into spherical HDL, that is HDL3. Sorry, 3 into 2. Sorry. So it is 3 and it is 2. It is not only convert this one, it is also going to convert 2 into 1 later on. Next question we are having, Zellweger syndrome is associated with the abnormality of non-essential fatty acid metabolism, essential fatty acid metabolism, cholesterol metabolism and lipoprotein metabolism. The correct answer here is, it is associated with essential fatty acid metabolism. What is Zellweger syndrome is? It is called as peroxisome biogenesis disorder. So Zellweger syndrome is a genetic disorder normally present in newborn babies. This syndrome is the most severe of 4 disorders of this category. It causes severe problem in nerves and metabolism. Why is nerves and the metabolism soon after the birth? Because nerves normally contains unsaturated fatty acid. Unsaturated fatty acids are normally essential fatty acids, So if we are unable to metabolize essential unsaturated essential fatty acids, it is going to affect the nerves. Zellweger syndrome is one of the group of 4 related disorder called peroxisome biogenesis disorder. I have just now told you. So these are group of rare disease involved in the enzyme activity in the peroxisome. So that's why it is called as peroxisome biogenesis disorder. These diseases are caused by the defect in any of the 13 genes termed as PEX gene required for the normal formation and function of peroxisomes. And ultimately Zellweger syndrome affects the brain, liver and kidney. Next question we are having, Tangier disease is a disorder of lipoprotein metabolism. The phenotype corresponds to which type of biochemical properties Tangier disease will have? Low level of VLDL, low level of LDL, IDL or HDL? The correct answer is low level of HDL. If you see Tangier disease, it is also called as familial HDL deficiency. It is a rare autosomal codominant forms of extremely low plasma HDL-C that is caused by mutation in the gene encoding ATP binding cassette transporter A1, ABCA1. In this case, the normally plasma HDL content, which should be normally into 25 to 40 mg per dl range, it becomes less than 5 mg per dl. So HDL content is very, very less. That is Tangier disease. Then next question we are having, although ketogenesis occurs in hepatocytes, ketone body synthesis occurs in liver cells, it cannot utilize ketone body. Liver cannot use metabolize ketone body. Why? It is due to the deficiency of which enzyme? Thiokinase, thiophorase, thiolase or thiolase. If you remember the metabolic process of ketone body, you can give the answer. The correct answer here is thiophorase. This is the metabolic process of degradation of ketone body. You know that we are having 3 different ketone bodies in our body: beta hydroxybutyrate, then this one acetoacetate or acetone. Normally acetone does not go for metabolic process. Acetone will not be metabolized in any case. So only 2 ketone body can be metabolized. So first beta hydroxybutyrate is going to be converted into acetoacetate by dehydrogenase enzyme. Then acetoacetate is converted into acetoacetyl coenzyme A with the help of thiophorase enzyme, and then acetoacetyl coenzyme A is going to be digested, hydrolyzed by the thiolase enzyme. So these are the essential enzymes required for this metabolic process of ketone body. In the liver, normally they lack this enzyme. So this enzyme is absent in liver, and when this enzyme is absent, liver cannot metabolize ketone body for acetyl coenzyme A formation. So that is the reason. Next question we are having, fatty acid oxidation is regulated by malonyl coenzyme A. The malonyl coenzyme A inhibits the entry of fatty acid into the cells, the activation of fatty acid to fatty acyl coenzyme A, shuttling of fatty acyl coenzyme A into the mitochondria, and dehydrogenation of fatty acyl coenzyme A to enoyl coenzyme A. If the correct answer is shuttling of fatty acyl coenzyme A to mitochondria. If you will remember fatty acid oxidation, there are 3 stages are there. First one is the activation process, where fatty acid is converted to fatty acyl coenzyme A. Then second is transportation of fatty acyl coenzyme A into the mitochondria, and third is actual fatty acid oxidation. So this malonyl coenzyme A normally going to affect the transportation of shuttling of fatty acyl coenzyme A inside the mitochondria. It does not allow the transport of fatty acyl coenzyme A into the mitochondria. So malonyl coenzyme A normally during the fatty acid synthesis process, this is the synthetic process. Acetyl coenzyme A converted into malonyl coenzyme A again, if when during degradation converted into acetyl coenzyme A. This malonyl coenzyme A increases fatty acid synthesis but decreases fatty acid oxidation. It is inhibitor of fatty acid oxidation. It is activator of fatty acid synthesis. How? By shuttling fatty acyl coenzyme A into the mitochondria. Next question. Chylomicron remnant are rapidly taken by the liver in a process which requires. First, you should need to understand what is chylomicron remnant, and then you can give the answer of this question. The correct answer here is apoprotein E. Normally, in the chylomicron metabolic process, we are having first chylomicron is going to form, nascent chylomicron in the intestine. It comes into this circulation. So in the intestine we form nascent chylomicron, which is having only apoprotein A and B48, triglyceride and some amount of cholesterol. In the circulation, this nascent chylomicron receives some of the apoprotein like apoprotein C2, C3 and E, and it becomes mature. So this mature chylomicron is having B48 from here, A from here, C from here and E from here. Now you know that in case of transportation, this C2 is the activator of LPL, lipoprotein lipase. So this lipoprotein lipase normally digests triglyceride. So triglyceride will be digested, so and convert this chylomicron will be converted into chylomicron remnant, which is having low level of triglyceride. In the same way, in the same process, this conversion of chylomicron to chylomicron remnant, apoprotein A and apoprotein C is also going to be released. So chylomicron remnant will have only B48 and C. With the help of this E, with the help of this apoprotein E, it is going to bind to the receptor present on the liver, hepatocytes. So this binds to this LDL receptor, which can recognize B100 and E, or this can also bind to LRP. So here apolipoprotein helps in the uptake of chylomicron by the hepatocytes. Next question, we are having the clearance of LDL cholesterols in hepatocytes requires LDL receptor, ApoC2 receptor, a scavenger receptor, or none of the above. The correct answer is LDL receptor. So we are having LDL in the circulations. This LDLs will be taken into the hepatocytes with the help of LDL receptor, which recognizes B100 and apolipoprotein E, and it will be taken back. So LDL will be taken into the hepatocytes with the help of LDL receptor, which recognizes B100 of LDL. This is present in LDL, this is present in chylomicron remnant. Next question, we are having the HDL is taken up by the hepatocytes via LDL receptor, ApoC2 receptor, a scavenger receptor B1, and none of the above. Here the correct answer is a scavenger receptor B1. So if you see, this is HDL. HDL will be taken into the hepatocyte with the help of a scavenger receptor B1. So it binds here and it will be taken into the hepatocyte for recycling or metabolic processes. Next question, we are having HDL is a type of lipoprotein that is important for acquiring cholesterol from VLDL and chylomicron. Which of the following protein is important for HDL function? Apoprotein A1, LCAT, cholesterol ester transport protein, or all of the above? The correct answer is all of the above. So ApoA1, LCAT, which we have seen it, and CTETEP, all three helps HDL for the acquiring cholesterol from other lipoproteins like VLDL and chylomicron. So if you see, this is HDL metabolic process. Normally liver forms unesterified immature HDL. This HDL in the circulation accepts some of the cholesterols, which is going to be esterified with LCAT. Then there also we are having cholesterol ester CETP, which esterified cholesterols, do the esterification of the cholesterols, and A1 also present on the HDL. So all three needed for HDL metabolic process. The next question, we are having Familial hypercholesterolemia is a co-dominant genetic disorder caused by a mutation of the gene that encodes apolipoprotein E, apolipoprotein B, LDL receptor, VLDL receptor. The correct answer is LDL receptor. Why? In case of this is the autosomal co-dominant disorder. In this case, plasma level of LDL increases, triglyceride level will be normal, and defect in the LDL receptor. It may be homozygous, it may be heterozygous. In the questions, which gene mutation is going to cause this familial hypercholesterolemia? It is the gene which is responsible for LDL receptor. So defect in the LDL receptor will be there, and that is a autosomal co-dominant disorder. Next question we are having, familial hypertriglyceridemia is characterized by increased plasma VLDL and triglyceride, normal and mild increase in cholesterol level, reduced plasma HDL level, all of the above. It is hypertriglyceridemia. So the correct answer here is all of the above. Why? Because when we are having high triglyceride is present in HDL also, triglyceride present in cholesterol, chylomicron also, VLDL also, LDL also. So in this case, all of these above is going to be correct. The next question we are having, which of the following statement is true regarding familial hypercholesterolemia? In heterozygous, the serum cholesterol level ranges from 275 to 500. Plasma triglyceride are generally elevated. Serum LDL cholesterol is within the normal range, all of the above. The correct answer is, in heterozygotes, the serum cholesterol level will be 270 to 500 mg per dl. This is the familial. So we are having familial hypercholesterolemia, familial hypertriglyceridemia, or familial combined hyperlipidemia. The question here is related to familial hypercholesterolemia. In this case, we are having because of the overproduction of impaired LDL, high risk of atherosclerosis, tendon xanthomas, homozygous up to 8, heterozygous up to 2. So this is regarding hypercholesterolemia. Next question we are having, which of the following statement about plasma lipoprotein is correct? They have hydrophobic core of triglyceride and cholesterol ester. They have hydrophobic core of phospholipid and free cholesterol. They have hydrophilic core of triglyceride and cholesterol ester. They have hydrophobic core of phospholipid and apolipoproteins. The correct answer is, they have hydrophilic core. The correct answer will be A. They have hydrophobic core. They are water loving content will be in the core here, and water hating, which is hydrophobic, that will be in the center. So their triglyceride we are having, cholesterol ester we are having, and in the periphery we are having cholesterol, we are having phospholipids. So these are water. In the phospholipids we are having head region and tail region. Head region is water loving, hydrophilic, so that will be towards outside. And these are the proteins, which is different apoproteins, that is also hydrophilic. So here this option is wrong. The correct answer is A. Last question we are having, the atherogenic lipoprotein phenotype is a collection of which lipoprotein abnormality? Which condition is called as atherogenic lipoprotein phenotype? When reduced level of HDL, high proportion of small dense LDL, and raised triglyceride. Reduced HDL, high small dense LDL, normal triglyceride. Raised HDL, high small dense LDL, and raised triglyceride. So out of these four, the correct answer is reduced level of HDL decreases, and high amount of small dense LDL and high amount of triglyceride. So this is called as atherogenic lipoprotein phenotype, where low level of HDL cholesterol. So HDL cholesterol decreases in both in male and female, and then high amount of triglyceride an elevated level of a small length LDL. So roughly this is almost all the questions we have covered. One or two questions more we are having. A person on the fat free carbohydrate rich diet, means carbohydrate rich diet but which is fat free from fat, continues to grow obese, becomes more obese. Which of the following lipoprotein is likely to be elevated in his blood? The correct answer is VLDL. Why? Because VLDL, normally when we eat carbohydrates, this carbohydrate inside our body is going to be converted into fatty acid and ultimately into triglyceride. And those triglyceride which is in my body, that will be used for the conversion of formation of VLDL. So ultimately in our body, a person who does not eat fat, if they will eat fat containing food, then chylomicron will be there, but they are containing fat free carbohydrate. So this carbohydrate inside the body will be converted into free fatty acid and triglyceride, and ultimately VLDL level will rise, and because of that one he is going to grow obese. So this is all about the roughly I have covered almost all the MCQ, especially all the portions of the LDL metabolic process. So hope this will clear your concept on LDL metabolic processes or metabolism. If you like the video, press the like button. You can write in the comment box your comments, any kind of suggestions, any questions you are having. If you are not subscribed to my channel, you can subscribe now. You can press the bell button so that you can get all the notification on time. So thank you very much. Have a nice day.